Hello, my beautiful peasants, and welcome back to the tavern. Today we are sculpting the Majestic, the regal Capybara Centaur. Capitar. This is a ridiculous request from one of my newest legendary patrons, but who's been a long-term peasant, just Linkful. So I'm realizing now that I have no references, so we'll need to fix that. We have a beautiful sketch from Just Linkful themselves, beautiful, and then I grabbed this, and then that was it. I need more information than this, so. I'm gonna grab some more references of capybaras, and in the meantime, grab a drink, grab a snack, get yourself comfortable. It's gonna be a fun stream. Going to my trusty resource of Pinterest. What do we got in here? I got my Who's Been, Pose Win, classic, Reaper, Wendelia Paint, and of course, Just Lingual. Hello, hello. Alright, capybara. Let's get some references other than the very solitary two that I have. They really are. So it's gonna be like a giant horse rodent. Rodent horse. Yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm tempted to put like a little orange on his head or a bird. We'll see. I feel like this comes up a lot more than I would expect. Oh, I love the angry small ones. Not super relevant for what we're doing, but I like it, so I'm grabbing it. Same with this. It's gonna be, man, they have like duck feet almost. Okay. Wow, not a whole lot of very defining features. They're kind of just like this very rotund. Alright, that's fine. Oh gosh, there's so many like bath art, cute vibes. I love it. Ah, very fittingly, the capybara that are in Peak. Speaking of, don't forget that this Saturday there is the trial of Just Lingual. Gonna be on my game channel. It'll be posted in Discord. It'll be a good time. There'll be a handful of peasants and Just Lingual and myself trying to make it to the peak. It'll be a good time. Alrighty. How many more references do I need? I am perplexed by their weird little feet. Big fan of this one. I think that's actually the thumbnail for today. Alright, I now have some pretty good references here. Obviously we need Just Linguals towards the top. There we are. That's a pretty good vibe. Also, my dog is snoring quite loudly in the background, so if you hear gurgling, that would be my dog. Do not be alarmed. He is the least stressed entity on the planet. Wow, that's pretty loud. There's no way you guys don't hear that. I don't trust myself to turn my camera because Ricky has it put up here so nicely, but he looks really cute. Just take my word for it. Maybe I'll take a picture and post it in Discord if you guys think you're really missing out. Alright. I am gonna grab... Man, this head is really weird. It's so... block. Alright. And there's almost no nose bump. It's just not straight to nostrils. Okay. Alright. Well, let's get to it. I think we got all the information that we need. Excuse me. I'm going to sculpt the head first, and I guess we'll see what happens. Very good. First thing I'm going to do is grab a base. I think the one with lily pads is perfect. However, it will be difficult to get him to fit because I'm probably gonna need an elliptical base for this. Maybe I'll just combine these two here. Is this separate? No, that would be too nice. But having like a hot springs themed base, I think would be really cute. That doesn't seem to really fit the character, if I'm being honest. So maybe we'll just grab this one for now and decorate later. Gonna move that base over into the seam. Where is it? There it is. So today is effectively my Friday. I don't work on Fridays, but I will be back, of course, on the weekend for the trial of Just Lingual, which I'm really looking forward to. It was a ton of fun the last time we played Peak. Who knows? Maybe I'll be a little better at it this time. Aloha and Just Lingual swear that it was like an unusually hard starting area. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, that is helpful. Wow, their skull looks ridiculous. For a second, I couldn't even tell which way it was facing. All right, then. That is quite the nasal cavity. It's like an entirely hollow head. Okay. Okay. That is something. I am going to grab this base. I might kind of kit bash it together later. There we are. Almost done grabbing all of our pieces. It might surprise you to know that I don't just have a capybara head ready to go. That is something that I've never sculpted before. But I've sculpted a lot of rodents. I've sculpted horses, so we're halfway there, aren't we? I'm just gonna throw that into the base. I think it looks decent. Hide both of those. And let us begin. Oh, before I get too far into this, actually, let me see what you guys are up to. Hello, Mr. Square Pig. Welcome back. That's true. Capybara kinda is horse-like because box skull. This is true. Hello, Foxy. Big rat time. Oh boy. Okay, I've had time to think about it. I'm gonna grab my clay buildup brush and we are going to get sculpting. They have eyes on the side of their head, which makes sense. They're not predators, might surprise you to know. Can you imagine? We're gonna have this at a pretty low resolution and we are just gonna start shaping this. Just going for any like important like bony landmarks, and honestly there's not a ton but they are still there, so the eye area is gonna be of the most important. It's quite high up on their skull, and then you can see right here there is some shadowing that does kind of give me some hope of stuff to follow. So there's like this triangle shape here, then followed by cavity on the bottom. Going in here pretty rough, and then big nostrils, not that big. Very good. Give them a bit more of a little pronounced little chin, and even lower poly. There we go. I'm really just gonna focus on getting each of like the main components, like an eyeball, ears, the head, that kind of stuff, and then refine it slowly as we go. I don't want to have like a hyper realistic nostril first, if that makes sense. Okay, so for the ear, I'm going to grab just my curved tube brush, add 2 little spikes. I'm going to just sculpt one ear at a time. I find sometimes dealing with, what is it? Symmetry on 2 different objects like this, it acts a little funny. I'm going to use my move brush, kind of punch in this shape and find this cute little ear business we got going on. Use move and back face mask to kind of add this crevice overlap. There we go. I feel like this little guy would love an IPA. I'm trying to think of like what kind of drinks he would have, because in this sketch here, Just Lingual has him holding a beer, which I find really, really funny. Hello, Nifty. Welcome in. All right, we have a little stumpy ear. I'm gonna go ahead and ZBrush that to kind of clean it up a touch. I'm gonna do the same thing with the head. This just giant eye cavity is so weird right now. All right, but hey, it looks more like a capybara than it did just a moment ago. And that's really all we're going for. All right, so we're gonna have this majestic neck and head and chest, and really everything past the head. This is where the anatomy is going to pretty much be a free-for-all for me. There we go. All right, and then from the front view, I actually don't really know what we're dealing with here. I picked this cute reference, but it's surprisingly triangular. Yes. Okay. It looks like their little snout actually does taper quite a bit to the front, and then they have this pretty expressive eye. And then the sides of their face, like the jowls, actually are kind of lower than I expected. There we go. That's actually looking kind of cute. But it looks like we have here this Capybara is more of like this majestic, regal soldier. So I'm going to try to hold back from the adorableness and maybe get a little bit of the toughness in there. Oh my goodness. Hello, Empress. Did you even study capybara anatomy? Like, what anatomy school did you go to? Good morning. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine having a whole class just for a single animal? Well, I mean, I guess we do that for people, but that makes sense. Okay. I don't want to lose some of the key proportions here, which is stretching out that snoot. We don't want this looking too baby. There we go. Okay. I like it. I like it. Hello, hello. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and merge all of these pieces down because they are recognizable. We're gonna start creating the eyes, which is just going to be a sphere. Let's get those in his head. I'm gonna make them a little on the larger side just because I like expressive eyes. Subdivide them once, duplicate, I'm gonna split them into, excuse me, 2 different pieces. And this is going to be the top and lower eyelids. I actually slept in this morning. I usually get up about the same time as Ricky does, but this time I got up, drank some water, and went right back to bed. Probably fell asleep for an additional like hour or something. I don't think this would be a particularly zealous warrior. I imagine him having a bit of a more of a relaxed vibe. But I also imagine him being a pretty successful one, pretty tough, not easily phased. So I kind of like this idea of having a bit like a bored expression, and then probably like holding a beer, maybe with like a slight slouching hunch, a slunch, and maybe just like he's part of like a band of mercenaries. They've all come into the tavern and everyone else is really animated about this big successful fight that they had. And meanwhile, he's like, I really just want a drink and a good time. Fox, you cannot have anarchy in my Discord while I'm not there. Just Single says, they're an industrious warrior society that people don't take serious because they're cute. They are cute. Slaving isn't such a nice thing. We can get away with it. I mean, yeah, the get away with it is a pretty key part. It was nice waking up and not being like, you know. All right, we'll call this Capybara head. Very nice. And then I do think I have a Centaur base that I can kind of pull from. Capybara. me go ahead and search my files and see if anything comes up. So I've definitely sculpted a horse before, which is like 90%. Okay, I have a Centaur ZTL. Yeah, that's something. It's definitely not as chunky, so we'll need to beef up this horse body quite a lot. But I can do that. All right, I'm going to bring the capybara head into this scene. So the trick with getting your proportions correct when it comes to us is weird. Anyway, for a centaur is if you look at the front, we're going to cover this up. So if you cover up the horse section of it, it should just look like a normal standing character. Does that make sense? I can do a better job explaining this. So if you ignore this back half, there, just the front, it should make quite a bit of sense still. That's the big thing. So it'd be weird if, like, for example, like the legs came all the way up here, for example, you know, and he just had like this little tiny torso and then a head and little arms with these like exceptionally long legs. Like that's, I mean, I guess that's a look, but anyway, centaur tips. This breasted rodent was not on my bingo card for this week. I'm gonna fix it, don't worry. God, this is weird. Oh my goodness. It's fine. Alright, I'm not gonna need... Oh, these are her little legs, see? A lot of times I work with subdivision levels and you can't delete topology. I mean, you can reconstruct subdiv, but I find that works with varying success. So I just make stuff smaller, but then I get really cursed topology like that. Don't worry about it. Alright, we are fixing some of this. It's gonna look better very soon. There we go. And then, yeah, we need to make this horse much more rotund. Oh, Foxy, you have been colonized. It's fun to look up to the Discord and see these little anarchy headlines. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time over there. Don't I have mods for this? My goodness. Oh, it's cute. Just Single says, I like that description, especially because capybaras almost sound more like birds when they chitter. So it'd be like the quiet one of the party. I agree. I agree. Ooh, idea. He deserves a mate. A big-breasted rodent. You are spicy today. Good lord. He does have flowers to give to a deserving mate. They're mangled. Oh, that's right. The other sketch where it's like just a piece of earth. Okay. Okay. I need to fix this though. I'm gonna hide the horse body for a second because it's just really awful. I mean, it's a nice horse, but yeah. I'm gonna go with a slightly larger belly here. I kind of want to put armor on this fella. And more of like a hunched shoulder. These arms are also much too skinny. There we go. It's a bit better. And they're a bit long too. Imagine him just being stumpier in general. So let's kind of squish that up. That's better. Okay, the baby hands are weird. Those will be fixed. There we go. That's better. All right, let's get some clothes on this bad boy. Hello, Reaper. What mods? Yeah, I know. Oh, there we go. No mods, no masters. If you're curious what I'm even narrating, there is shenanigans happening in our Discord server that I have up right here. Be there or be square. All right, where is a shirt for this fella? Just like a very simple tunic. I mean, nothing on the shoulders. I'm going to go off of Just Lingual's sketch very, very heavily because it's good. Simple as that. I could give him an under bust corset. We're not doing that. That's a joke. That is a joke. Okay. I do need like some shoulder pads. I think I might need to make a lot of his clothing from scratch. I don't really have rotund capybara proportioned clothing, believe it or not. I actually have this like fur shoulder pad, which is like already ready to go. Oh, I said feathered in this. It doesn't really look like feathers. All right, there's a good one. He needs to be even more broad, but this is a good starting point. Very good. This, I actually do, like jokes aside, I do think this character is going to look really good by the time that I'm done with it. But I also think it's going to test me the entire time. It's going to be like, well, how badly do you want this to look good? It's okay, I am prepared to work for it. All right, off to a good start there. I might give him some sort of vambrace. I think this one could suit him. Forearm muscles are notoriously kind of tricky to navigate, so my favorite thing to do is just to cover them up. Very good. All right, let's give this fella a shirt. So when you're creating stuff from scratch, it's usually just a lot of masking. So I'm going to mask this at 0 thickness, extract, and then in ZBrush to clean this up. There we go. He's got a shirt. I love the crossbar straps as well. We're going to use just the curve strap snap brush, which is already in ZBrush, ready to go. Very good. Duplicate, mirror. Bam. I think last but not least, we just need a belt. For the belt, I'm actually going to use the ring and then just ZBrush it to be nice and low poly. Catfish is also streaming my Discord. What are you doing, Catfish? You're supposed to be here. I don't know if they're even in this chat. Hello, Paint. Welcome in. Work is hell and I am ice cream. Well, at least you're sweet. There we go. We have 2 more priority ticket streams planned for next week. One for Artaka and another one for Sean's. So keep an eye out for that. Also, there's only 3 priority tickets left for sale this month. So if you want one, go snatch one up. And if you've been a patron for more than 6 months, you get half off. So don't forget about your discount code. All right, I'm gonna smooth this down a little bit. So I'm gonna crease the edges and then, what do you mean you're not symmetrical? There we go. And we're going to polish my features. There we go. Wanted a bit of a crisper shape. Then some sort of decorative buckle. Undecided on what that's gonna be. I think I have an idea. I made this spirit sword a long time ago that was made of coins. It's a money sword. There's something that this is actually called. But anyway, it's like a really cool present that's given as like a form of good luck. It's frequently given to recently married couples. This is all, this is Chinese, I think. I don't think it's Japanese. But anyway, I made a coin for that to make this sword of money. And I think that would be a really fitting belt buckle on this character. Kind of goes into that. Okay, I labeled this Chinese. Very convenient. So yes, this is Chinese. But I think that could be a really cool belt buckle. Kind of matches the shape and then gives that like hot spring vibe that I keep thinking about. I think that's going to be perfect. Excellent. And then of course like little pouches and stuff. Alright, where's another one I can grab here? I'm a big fan of this like coin purse here. I do like the idea of the stopwatch. I just don't think it fits this character particularly. Looks like Justin will sketch a bell, it looks like right here. I was thinking maybe like a lantern. I don't really have a lantern that I think fits the aesthetic that I'm going for. Justin says, that coin's popped up a few times. I like it every time it does. It ties the Taververse together. It sure does. That is another secondary reason of why I like my asset library, because it literally keeps things themed and pulled together. I see that Catfish has renamed the voice chat tag thing. Do not complain about the stream quality, because Catfish was streaming Vermintide yesterday. And this shit was at 5 FPS, straight up. And I'm like, are you actually, he's kind of a chaotic guy. So I'm like, are you actually playing your game at like 5 FPS? And I truly mean this. I don't mean this in like this snobbish, like, is that even 240? Like I played at 30 FPS for a very, very long time. I was a console girly. Just recently, I'm like, oh wow, 60, this is so fancy. But anyway. I do think it'd be fun to add a carrot sticking out of one of these pouches, because I imagine capybaras like carrots, and I sure know that horses do. So just a little snack. I'm gonna add a couple. And I'll make sure later to actually kind of like bend the pouch around it so it doesn't look like there's just like carrots stabbed through it, but that's for later. That's a secondary detail. We're still in concepting. It'd be even better maybe he was holding the carrot instead of a beer and just like biting off a carrot, very disgruntledly excited to actually go back to camp and begin a good rest. All right, for his other hip. So I'm imagining he's not fighting right now. I think a spear is very fitting, obviously. It's in the sketch, but I also think a small, like either a short sword or like a small like war axe would be really fitting too. A carrot-tipped spear. Oh, that would be hilarious. I think something plant-related versus the drink instead would be really smart as well. Same page. All right, I'm pretty pleased with these items. I'm gonna grab grass. And that's just to add to the base later. All right, I'm pleased with this so far, so we'll keep on and carry on. I'm really scouring to be like, is there any other little pieces that I want? Just this little floating capybara torso. What a good time. Alrighty. It has been so much fun hanging out with y'all in voice chat and Discord recently, by the way. It's kind of pushing my like social meter for sure, but it's for a good cause. It's definitely fun. All right, anything else? Oh yeah, again, I think an axe on the hip would be really cool. But Just Think will mention they have a propensity to adding spears to a lot of their characters, and I do think it'd be fun, like it's like the whole series of like Just Think requests I have, and they all have a spear. I do find that funny. I am tickled by that, so maybe I will keep that. I have this spear here with like this big plume at the top, and it's not a separate piece. Of course it's not. I might use this one and then decorate it because I do like the coin, well, like whatever tassel they have hanging in the sketch, and I think it'd be fun to use that same coin again, kind of like a lucky charm. I mean, there could be both. You could have multiple. Oh, there's that spirit sword I was talking about. I still love this model. Gosh. And like on the whole base, I have like it stabbed like, and I think of the rock, and there's these wispy clouds coming off of it. It's just a really cool model. I think we're going to go with the spear. I also made this one correctly and it has multiple pieces, so it will be nice and easy for me to edit. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with like a simple dagger on the other side of the belt. I just feel like there needs to be something of utility on this belt other than just money and food, which arguably high utility, but not very mercenary, which for some reason I've decided that this is a mercenary character. He's got to have a really unassuming name, like Bertold. I'm trying to think. Oh, I would love that, like if Bertold was his name, but like people call him Bernie for short, and he hates it. I think that'd be really cute. Bernie, the capybara. Oh, what about the horn? I think that would be cool. It'd be even better if like he was the leader of this band actually, and like having a war horn is quite classic and much more interesting than this little sword. Also, I've only been able to use this war horn like once on a character, and I'm always looking for an excuse to include it. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that as well. Many of you guys know this, but I definitely subscribe to the more is more theory when it comes to art, and then I take things away as necessary. Once I'm like, okay, we have for sure hit peak clutter. Is this something that I can have like strapped to like his chest? Maybe like on a necklace? That'd be a little too small. I'm gonna put it in the middle of his chest for right now because it, for some reason, is looking good. I am undecided on what this is going to be because it kind of looks like a tooth right now as well. That will be there for future thought. And like always, if you guys have creative ideas that you want to share, you're more than welcome to. I might not take them, but maybe I will. Justlingual says, the spear in the stone as a Mesoamerican-inspired Arthurian tale is an actual story I wrote when I was a teen. No kidding. Wait, I actually have some name ideas. Oh, tell me. I think there's a click in his name, but everyone leaves it out. I must know. That's great. Carrot sword. I have done a carrot sword before. It was a rabbit folk, which is very on the nose, but it was great. I actually got a really unique set of requests a long time ago. It was this woman who wanted her sons did sketches for the D&D characters. One of them was a flying squirrel ranger, and the other one was a rabbit folk with a carrot sword. Super cute. Those are in the vault now. Actually, they're still available. So if you're a patron, you can go and find those models. They're really, really cute. I made them a long time ago, but they still hold up, which is always a good feeling. All right, we need to bulk up this horse body and make it more like, really more like a pony. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this high subdiv because this like really kind of sinuous body. This is more based on a thoroughbred horse, and I'm very biased because that's the breed of horse I have. So that's what I'm used to looking at all the time. But we're going to take something that's much more rotund and not so sinewy and racehorsey. Yeah, I can't imagine. Look at how skinny these legs look on this specific character. Yeah, we're going to fix this. So I'm going to drop the subdivision levels, and that will naturally kind of remove some of that detail. Looking at the tail, I think like a short warhorse tail would be cool. Anyway, and we're going to beef this guy up. So just going to polygroup all of that together. I'm thinking of how I want to approach this because I don't want this getting too crushed. And I do love the idea of having feathers. Feathers are just the long hair around horse leg or horse feet, hooves, words. You know what I'm talking about. All right, we're gonna lower this, scoot this over. And then we're going to split the legs into their own points. That's kind of what I was hemming and hawing over right now. I was like, do I want these to be separate objects? And I think I do. I was just cautious on doing that because sometimes it can make it look really busted. But I think I have the experience to pull this off. So we're going to find out. If not, I can always just go back to this moment. We can try again. All right, we have legs. We're going to split them again. Front legs, back legs. Closing holes, smoothing off this really weird thin topology, and then it's time to beef these up. The hoof itself is going to look somewhat the same, so I'm going to be careful of not losing what that shape is. Right off the bat, I know I want this to be shorter. I'm going to scoot this in, and then I'm also going to bend this leg back a touch. I'm not going to worry about the posing of the legs too much right now because obviously it's not posed right now. We're going to round off the top of the hind quarter here so it makes a bit more sense. Okay, we got some really weird Capybara booty going on. I'm actually not going to fix it because that might look good. I was just pausing because I'm like, that's a sentence I didn't expect to say today. All right, I'm just using back face mask and being really careful to add volume. Because again, horse legs, even on a stocky horse, they're still like incredibly skinny compared to the rest of the animal. Horses are weird. All right, I want the hooves to be larger, so I'm gonna go to the underside here and literally just make them larger. The back legs are more spade shaped, or the hoof, and then the fronts are more round. Pretty subtle, not that spade shaped. There we go. All right, we are getting chunkier. It is happening, it is improving. Hello, Mikeys. What am I looking at? Well, a Centaur, obviously. Oh my goodness. Oh, Benno could be the name of the people leave out of the clique that people call him Benno, Benny, or Ben. That's also cute. And by clique, do you mean like a literal like that's hilarious. Hello, Dragon. Are there any horse pictures on Discord? No, right now I just have this skull. But you guys are welcome to put more references in there, of course. All right, we're a bit stockier. Happy with that. Hooves are looking more like pancakes, so I will fix that. Can you guys hear my dog snoring? Oh my goodness, I thought he would just... Why are your eyes open? Okay, I need to take a picture of that. That's horrible. Oh, the second I go take a picture, you of course look normal and cute again. Okay. It's all blown out because I have a light right here, but I will put this really low quality picture in the Discord for you guys to see. This is obviously extremely important and worth stopping the entire stream over. Here's this terrible blown up picture of my dog who is snoring incredibly loud right there. And if you're not in Discord, you should be. But if you're not, bam, there it is. Fantastic. Hello, Zephyrus Prime. I think that you're new. Welcome. Your tablet angle is so low, my neck is hurting for you. Not my favorite intro comment, but hello, welcome. It's really not bad. Dragon says, that's a dog? I thought that was someone running a motorboat. Yeah, so you guys can't hear him. Return of the map snores. Yeah, he hasn't been in here in a hot minute. All right, let's continue getting this chunky, and then let's add some feathers and then a tail. This belly is also kind of, we got some oddness. But we're getting somewhere. All right, I'm just gonna grab a sphere to block out a little stumpy tail here, and then those feathers I keep talking about. I was thinking kind of like a short tail would be perfect here. I do think I already have something I could have grabbed, but for now, no, I think I'm gonna want something longer. I'm not sure. This whole weird butt situation, because the legs are separate especially, just got kind of a funny situation going back there. So we're gonna kind of leave that for a moment and we're gonna go back to the feathers. Okay, Empress said, I was so confused. I thought we were keeping it horse pony. I thought we were going full capybara. Oh god, no. Yeah, no, this is a capitar. This is oh my goodness, I can see why you're confused. Yeah, that would be horrifying if this is like, yeah, you know, our capybara, he's just a little tall. Oh gosh. Though it's not a bad idea to also do a normal capybara. Usually I like to include the when I do like a weird version, like a capitar, I usually like to have the actual animal available at my library too. Which is not the case for this one. I don't have any capybaras. Oh my goodness. I'm acting like that's the normal thing now. Alright, starting to add some fluff here. I kind of did this the same way I would a shirt. Just mask and extract, and then mostly just focusing on the shape. Just changing the silhouette. Gonna make these weird legs look a lot better. That's why I wasn't spending too much time trying to bulk these up. I knew I was gonna cover them with hair anyway. There we go. This is so weird. But it is coming together. I am starting to like it. I think I need to make this character even shorter, even stumpier. So I'm going to shorten the back and scoot all of this down. That is so funny and dry. Dragon said, my father was a minotaur, my mother was a mermaid, so I am just a man. I've never heard that joke before. That's a good one. Like horse. Oh goodness. This model is more zen than I expected it to be. I thought this would be a bit more of a struggle. And given how chaotic the Discord's been recently, I was like, you know, I think this would be really fitting. But no, this is pretty tame, actually. Oh, we need to get rid of some weird funky topology going on down here. There we go. That's better. We can still go chunkier with the legs, so we will. It's got a bit of a lower belly. And a better transition coming up into the back. Oh yeah, and then the back of this belt, obviously, it needs to sit a bit higher here. All right, we can do that. Actually, the whole thing I might move up a touch, but not too much. There we go. Well, now that we have a lot of the basic shapes in here, it's going to be time to work on the head again, too. God, this is so silly. Oh gosh. Dragon says, really? Don't give me credit. Oh, that's the best kind of joke to take credit for. I do have an original joke though. Shoot. Emperor says, this is why we watch before we speak. I was thinking to myself more around. Exactly, if you just think it, it's kind of like this telepathy thing that happens. I think I scared off that new person. It's just a crazy thing to come in and like immediately criticize someone's setup. Which is probably not what they meant, but I was just like, hello. We're also kind of a tight-knit group of peasants here too. All right, we got a joke from Dragon. What draws the mortician's carriage? Skeleton horse. Death Reaper. A hearse. That is stupid. That's a good one. Oh, nice. I was trying for it. I'm like, skeleton horse. I was trying for it, but I just kept thinking of the Thestrals from Harry Potter. Speaking of, is that reboot out yet? I feel like I've seen a million ads for it. Do you guys have like ad revenge, where if you watch, like if an ad is shown to you enough times, then you're like, I am specifically gonna go out of my way to not watch or buy this now because you have annoyed the shit out of me. Oh gosh. Kind of a silly way to be. All right, where is that base? I don't see it anymore. Oh, it was back here. I remember now. I'll start building this scene we got a little better. Yeah, Paint says, oh, 100%. I love it. Petty crew unite. Emperor says, so I wasn't gonna watch it anyway, but yes, ad revenge is real. Totally fair. Oh my goodness, I really hit like a hot topic here. Oh gosh. Dragon says, I kind of got sick of people talking about Game of Thrones, so I haven't read or watched it yet, and I probably never will. Yeah, I haven't watched Game of Thrones either. It was on once, so I like went to sit through an episode, and like, I'm no prude by any means, but like, I feel like the whole thing was just a sex scene, but like, they were talking still, like politics during it. So I was like, it was such a long scene. I usually feel like they're egregiously long, I'll just skip them. But I was like, they're talking plot points. I don't know, it was really weird. And then later I was like, God, they sure look related. And anyway, we're not good. Okay, here we go. Oh, the clicking approach thing. Where's this gonna play out of? Nowhere. 1 second. Just saying, we'll put the pronunciation. I want to hear it. Oh, because the clicking thing. Oh, okay. I can't do any of those. But I know what you're talking about now. Like, there's a tonal difference, right? That's really cool. That's very cool. You guys are silly. Well, I think we're doing a pretty good job here. Pretty pleased with this so far. Just Lingual said, I left for 20 seconds. And yeah, no. I mean, I guess it was Game of Thrones. Someone brought up Game of Thrones. It's the only bit of an episode that I'd seen, and I didn't say they were siblings. I just said they looked very related, and it was weird. Anyway, yes. Don't put that evil on me. Oh goodness, I've upset my tablet over there. Anyway. Alright, let's give this a lower poly, because it's being a little silly. There we go. I want more shape. Shapier shape, please. And I'm going to go ahead and split this fluff. Very nice. Perfect. You could use a necklace. I agree, necklace needed. You know, it's funny you guys say that because I pretty much have one already drafted out here. Oh goodness. We've all been hanging out for quite some time, haven't we? There are a lot of inside jokes at this point. Yep, lingual is just lingualing. No, that's well put. Well put. That is cool. Well, he's looking much more stout. I kind of want to go with more belly, I think. Yes. There we are. Right now I'm kind of just fussing with it because I'm pretty happy with the shape we have here. And now I'm just kind of like thinking about what other big changes I want to add design-wise before I start detailing and then posing. And then paint's here, so I can give it especially crunchy pose demonstration. Paint's really been focusing on posing lately, and I think their first attempt, they're like, oh, I'm gonna try out Z-spheres, and I was like, don't. I mean, actually try everything. I feel like the more you pose, even if it's different methods, the better. The trick is to like do all the posing methods, dislike all of them, and then the second time you run through all of them again, you'll start to find what methods that you've liked or disliked less. And then one day, it won't be that hard, and then you'll love posing. I feel like I've described how a lot of artists feel about drawing hands. Dragon says, I'm standing here just clicking now. That's great. I'm gonna go with even more round. I need to find maximum rotundness. I don't care for this desert base. It's just a placeholder, really. Let's see. I can fix that. I'm actually just gonna cut off the top of that. There we are. Chop. Diamesh. And then what are we thinking for a base here? I love the idea of it being kind of hot springs-like, but I don't think that's very fitting. I think I'm just gonna do like a soft dirt grass sort of base. Reaper says, y'all just have a skill issue. Hands are great. So you're saying that when you were a kid, you didn't do poses like this, or like this, or the pockets, or they're just out of frame. Dragon says, you know, blanched green beans are an underrated snack. You're not selling me on that. I'm not sure about that. I am not convinced. Does not sound very flavorful. I don't know. I'm suspicious. And like, I'll try pretty much any food. I have to say pretty much any food because there's a few things I've been like, too far. If it's spicy especially, I just know it's not going to be a good time for me. There we go. So I kind of have like this little dirt blob up here. I'm going to subdivide it a few times and then add some texture. A really easy way to do that is grabbing the layer brush and then some sort of bumpy alpha. It could really be anything. And go with a larger, there we go. Larger brush size. And there you go. Dirt-ish texture. It honestly depends on the way that you dry brush it. It can look like moss, it can look like dirt. It can even look like an ocean floor. It's pretty versatile. Reverse it. Well, yeah, as a kid, but now I don't. Good for you. I'm working on it. I'm getting better at it, but drawing is hard. Right now I'm just moving these different grass trunks around to get some interest on the base. Not that the Capybara isn't plenty interesting, but I'm gonna turn on transparency, flip this upside down, and then kind of just go for like a random spread. Very good. I'm going to subdivide that, inflate slightly, and a little bit of contrast. Excellent. Well, we have all the rough shapes kind of blobbed out, but we don't really have any details yet. So that's going to be something I'm going to focus on pretty soon here. Right now I am organizing my subtools. I got a bunch of different pieces. Yes, Maverick. Name that base. Excellent. And as far as like the actual proportion of the character to the base, I will figure out once he's posed and detailed. This is about accurate. I do think he's still a bit tall. He's too tall. We're gonna make less tall. That's gonna be a pretty easy adjustment since I have my proportions pretty much dialed in. So let's just merge the legs down, put my gizmo in the center, and just scrunch. Very nice. Better. Much better. Oh gosh, this is really, really odd. Oh goodness. Dragon says they aren't, but neither are carrot sticks, you know? That's fair. That's fair. I do like carrots. Oh, I forgot about the carrots I had on his hip. You know, I have a better pouch I can use for that, so I probably will grab that later. But for now, big fan of having some different shapes and textures. Again, I really just expected this model to be much more of a struggle. Ooh, we have a stat block to review for this character. Let's give him a look. This is in our Discord. All right, AC of 15, 76 health, high strength. I think with Con being closely behind, I think the wisdom might be a little high. I think wisdom and Con being tied is interesting, but having it being strength focused, I feel like I'd make this more of like a high Con character than strength. Maybe not super strong, but just like dense, you know? 40 feet speed, that makes a ton of sense. Stealth. I disagree on the stealth entirely being a save for him. But perception and survival especially. Dark vision, yeah. Language is Capybara. I like that. Industrious nature. Capybars have advantage on intelligence, investigation, and wisdom survival checks related to crafting and tracking. Okay, you got me on the tracking thing. I like that. Silent footsteps. Okay, padded hooves and natural stealth enable it to attempt to hide even when only slightly obscured. That's true because, I mean, I guess they're prey animals and they do have these really weird, like, squishy feet. But this one doesn't have squishy feet. These are hooves. That's how I sculpted it anyway. A legendary action. That's bold. I love that. Can take one legendary action, choosing from option below, being the Capybara warrior moves up to half its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. I mean, that's not much of it. Legendary. What would that be called instead? That could just be a trait. Legendary, I think the legendary action, it should summon like a swarm of capybaras, but that's a little too silly. I really like writing stat blocks. Okay. Spear thrust, very good. Shield bash, also a good one. I think that fits this character well. This is still really fun. I like this. This is cool. Squishy hooves. Ew. I mean, I guess. I didn't think of it that way. But you know what? With the feathers, sure. Nice. Special trait, yeah. Just Single says, I use a stat block that just adds each section initially and then I adjust from there. That makes sense. Species trait. I gotcha. I gotcha. I think this is a really good start though. I like it. And everything I'm saying is not serious. Do whatever you want. I think I'm just talking. Let's make this bulkier. He still has little arms. There we go. I need to make these a touch smaller. I don't have this fur trim anywhere else, but I'll probably add that to the belt. Not back face mask, thank you. There we go. That's better. Add a little bit more volume to the bicep. I always want to add stuff right here, but that's not a thing. I just think arms are weird. So I just progressively make them lumpier and lumpier. It's a bad habit. I've gotten much, much better over the years though. All right. Wider neck, more of that fluff. There we go. Dragon says, I still haven't found someone hiring out a 3D printer. Unfortunately, I'll have to ask someone on Discord. I mean, that's a great community to ask. Were you United States and what did you need? Maybe I can help you out. I ask if you're in the United States just because otherwise shipping would probably make it not worth it. All right. Just looking more at this head here. Because like that small adjustment there, pulling that chin out is really important. I feel like this is an especially capybara looking capybara, but yeah. Yeah, less neck definition. And then the nostrils do sit a bit more like that. A bit flatter on the face. Let's go with a bit of a nose hump. Still keeping it pretty stylized. And I'll probably make the eyes a separate subtool for later, but I'm mostly looking at big forms still here. They have such a little mouth. Oh goodness. All right. This is looking pretty darn good though. Somebody is going to be very delighted by this character when it is finished. Obviously, just lingual, but somebody's gonna see this on Patreon and be like, ah, the exact character that I needed and didn't know. Dragon says, yes, USA. I wanted to do a couple from the Cute Creatures pack and stuff. I didn't start on Discord because it felt awkward because it involves swapping addresses. Oh yeah, that's true. Obviously I don't care because I ship stuff all the time. But yeah, what? Let's see. You just needed a few prints? Because I could absolutely help you out with that. You can send me a DM with the details and stuff. Here we go. Getting a little fluffier, a little more shape to our shape. It's just so silly, I love it. Sounds good, Dragon. And even if I'm not able to help you out, I can point you in, well, I don't say why I wouldn't, but I can point you in the direction of some of my merchants that are very trustworthy. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break here, probably grab a snack, stretch. I encourage y'all to kind of do the same, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes or so. Hello, I'm back. Welcome back. It sounds like I'm welcoming myself back. I see that Justlingle updated the stat block to be a little con heavier. I think it's perfect. You did increase the con from 16 to 18, so your modifier increased, so you need to bump the health by whatever level it is. But yeah, very cool. At level. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh, I see that dragon made a mess while we're gone. Hello. Oh, I'm glad you cleaned it up. You guys were so silly. Oh, goodness. Well, now I've had some time to walk away from it and come back. I was thinking, I'm like, I think this is actually going pretty good. Now I came back, I'm like, it is. This is kind of a goofy one, you know? But no, I'm sold on this guy. I think he's cool. So I'm going to set a timer for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm going to do a detail pass on the whole character, pose, and call it good. This is definitely one of those kind of models where I think I get kind of picky, I guess. Like I just kind of like keep cycling through and like moving the same tuft of hair like up a little bit, down a little bit. And I'm like, you're good. Make a decision. Oh, goodness. All right. We're going to put our Majestic Capybara up here. Let's see, what's his best angle? We'll do a few. I like to have some stamps up here while I'm working on details. That way, when you guys look up, you can still remember what the character looks like and people coming through. Otherwise, I tend to do a lot of work like this, which is like, what? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hide the base. I don't need to detail that, but the rest of it, yes. Oh, I'll probably add that little bit of detail to the spear. I think that'd be fun. I might do that after the pose is complete. I'm still undecided on this horn. I think it's cool. I might add like a rope around its neck or something. Okay. Setting a timer for 10 minutes. And just gonna think, you know, a detail pass, kind of going from top to bottom. If it doesn't have trim or texture, add it. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go from the feet up. No particular rhyme or reason. That is something I really commonly do. I just pick a direction and then I just start detailing in that direction. So I'm subdividing the legs and then we're gonna detail these feathers. I am a little undecided on how I want to detail them. I'm gonna grab the, you know what? I have a fur brush I can throw in here that I think would be a lot more efficient. It really depends on what kind of, like what area that you're detailing. Yeah, it's always nice to like give it your best and more is more, absolutely. But there does come a point with certain aspects of the model where don't feel bad if you're just gonna do something that's serviceable and then instead spend that time elsewhere. All right, I'm deciding to approach this a little differently. I want the feathers to be a separate subtool. There we go. It looks so, the legs look ridiculous without them. Okay. There we go. The first thing I'm going to do is really evaluate this blob shape I have because I think it's a little too round in the back. If you just throw details on top of like an odd base shape, it's not going to make it look good. It's just going to look like a weirdly detailed base shape. Does that make sense? I'm going to increase that contrast slider. There we go. I'm liking this shape. I'm going to subdivide a bunch of times, and then I might even grab my move brush and do like this kind of tiered fur blob effect. I'm just using the move brush to do this, and it's very, very sensitive to what your camera angle is. But if you get good at it, you can really add some like interesting secondary forms really quickly. There we go, because that looks better than what I had before. And then on top of that, I can add this more detailed fur brush. I don't know how luscious I want the fur to be on this character, so I'm undecided right now. I know I just want it to have good texture. Something fun to paint. I find that this little fur tuff brush does really, really well on those little blobs that kind of like pre-started with the move brush. Just be careful, because if you just rip through the whole thing, you get this really weird inverted effect. So like everything, if you take your time, it will look better. I'm gonna try another one here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we went a little insane with the fur. It's very, very furry. I'm a big fan of doing too much and then dialing it back than the other way around. I think that's fun, especially when you zoom out, it reads quite well. And if I want to tone it down a little bit, I can just grab my move brush. So I don't really need to do that amount of work again. I can definitely just reuse what I just did and just shape it a little bit. Very good. This is kind of a precursor to how fluffy I'm going to make the neck as well. Or precursor, foreshadowing. That was, yeah, similar, but not the same word. All right, let's merge these legs down, subdivide a few times, and then I'm going to transition the fur, just like so. Just like we'll mention, at 28mm scale, too much is just right sometimes. That is very true. It's funny because like in my like personal day-to-day life, if someone were to describe me as too much or too loud, it'd probably really hurt my feelings. I don't know why. I've always been more like, I kind of just feel like I want to blend in, you know? But in my art, it's the opposite. I think if someone says something was too much, that's better to me than the opposite of like, it's kind of meh. And then I'll probably do this really light fur texture on the entire model, but this I want to be almost not perceptible. Perceptible? Perceivable. Perceptible. All right. Imagine if this character would do exceptionally well in cold climates. Oh, what's he getting water? I was like, what is that? It's just my dog. All right, let's get some detail on the belly. With pretty much all of my characters, I like to opt for like this two-toned, so like a darker color on the top of the character, like the back, shoulders kind of stuff. And same thing goes with like texture. So if it's going to be an animal, I'll go with longer hair on the shoulders, that kind of stuff, which is generally true for most animals, but not all. I just find it's more fun to paint that way. It's a little too shaggy for what I'm wanting. Just want like a little ridge of detail. There we go. And now I can kind of just blend it down to almost nothing on the sides. You should make a furred horse model for your library at some point. Like a draft or like just a really hairy horse? There we go. I don't really want to detail this tail right now. I do want something kind of fluffy. I'm curious if I can repurpose these feathers again into a horse tail. I don't think I can. But there's no harm in trying. Because it would look more consistent if I can get that to work. I think that's going to be weird. If I was going for like that shorter tail I was talking about, maybe that would work. Again, I did not detail the bottom because I wasn't intending to even try to use it like this. But if I was going to, I would do the same process where I add some secondary forms and then some detail on top of that. Kind of throw it together and just see what it looks like. Kind of looks silly and I don't mind it. Might work with that later. Just gonna leave that for now. There's definitely some weirdness to that, but overall, better than nothing. All right, so for the shirt, I can tell it's not symmetrical, so I threw a mirror and weld on it. I can go with just close holes. And I don't think you actually see really the armpit area. Huh. So I'll go ahead and leave that alone. Subdivide a bunch of times. I'm gonna throw a heavy texture on this and then some cool stitching. But in the opposite order. I'm gonna do stitching first and then I'm gonna put a texture on it. Let's go with something like this. Oh, it's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna do another 10 minutes because I'm kind of in the zone here. There we go. I'm also gonna do something. So see like how like this brush is kind of blurry in some spots? Even though I'm at 3,000 points, what I'll do is I will delete subdiv, I'll dynamesh, and then I'll re-subdivide. And I find that gets me cleaner results. Yeah. All right, where is that fluff? That's a fine point. There we go. Even though you don't really see this armpit area, I do like for it to make some sort of like seam sense. I'm just gonna add 2 heavy seams down the front. I don't want to conflict with the straps too much. That was good. All right, from here we can add that kind of leather texture and then some really fine fabric folds. And by fine, I just mean few and far in between. So the thicker your material, the thicker and fewer you're gonna want your fabric folds to be. Granted, I just like fabric folds. So at the end of the day, everyone has a stylization on how they do fabric folds. I'm definitely more is more. So even like if this was leather, it would not fold even this much. But I like it. Remember, whenever you're crossing the center line of symmetry, turn it off. Otherwise you get these really weird, stiff looking fabric, these folds. I say fabric folds, I just mean anything that's deforming on a body. So whether it's leather or any sort of textile. Like a draft. Yeah, that would be fun. I do have chunkier horses. I have a war horse. That's pretty good. All right, belt. I'm realizing I didn't have this on the back of the bottle. That's fine. Just Single says, Capybars are the hobbits of the Centaur world. They know that they keep things comfortable in life, like ultra soft leather. There you go. That's silly. All right, for this, I do want a bit of a clearer edge on these, so I'm going to use my ZBrush brush to achieve that. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to delete this other there we go, strap because there's no need in detailing the exact same thing twice in the exact same way. Once is plenty. Gonna add some noise to that. Decimate it, and then I'll duplicate it and mirror on the back. Dragon says, when I get the money for Patreon, I'm having you make my homebrew world version of a unicorn. I would love that. I'm game. Just Single says, my autocorrect has been horrendous today. It has, and I know it's not you, so I tried to like read through it, but I didn't. Oh, goodness. It's okay, I know you can spell, I think. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna merge that down, duplicate it, and spin it 180 degrees and stick it on his back. And I'll be doing Patreon for a long time, Dragon, so no rush. Let's see, I started this in 2019. Yeah. I think my Patreon technically launched in 2018, but it was right at the very end, like in November or something. And I was still in school at that point, so I wasn't doing it full time or anything. Yeah, this weird, clumpy fur tail does look good. I still need to improve some aspects of it, but overall, I'm a fan. There we go. If any of these weird seams and stuff, that will get adjusted once the pose is finalized. All right, it's time for the body. Generally speaking, I detail top down, so this has been kind of funny going backwards. Ooh, I feel like that texture is perfect for this character. I'm gonna make it a little bit softer though. And we're going to try it one more time with backface mask. If the size of your brush is larger than the size of your mesh, it rips through both sides. Sometimes it can lead to some pretty cool looking effects, but generally speaking, it looks bad. There we go. More fur, more floof. Almost forgot about this belt. That might be a little too chunky on the trim. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I actually want to bevel this edge first too. There we go. That's better. And then I'm going to insert an edge loop at the bottom and the top. Do a little bit smaller detail there. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Throw some heavy leather texture over it. Even though this is really fine, and it definitely, like, every little wrinkle here doesn't show up on a 3D print at 28mm scale, it does help just to have anything on there. One, for people that print it bigger, like a statue, but two, just having some sort of surface noise does show up on the print still. And it takes, like, no time, so I might as well. Dragon says, I can't spell. Dragon, you've been so chatty today. It's been nice having you back in the chat. It's been a little bit. I hope things have been going good. Also, what a power move having your username be Dragon. I wouldn't mind just being called Dragon casually online. Oh, Jack is here. Hello, hello. I know a few Jacks, so... Oop, I threw my pen. I don't know if you were new or if you were returning. Either way, hello, Jack. I think it's funny you retracted your message because you just said hello. You're like, hello. Nope, I can't do it. I'm out. Well, if you're just being chronically shy, I'm sorry for drawing a bunch of attention to it. I'm gonna add some chips to the hooves, just a little bit of texture. All right, that's been 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, I was able to detail the whole character except for the head, which is arguably the most important part. I am dragging my feet on it a little bit because I really want to fuss over the forms on it endlessly. And if I detail it, I feel like I'm committing to the shapes I picked, so yeah. We're going to commit to the shapes. But first, I'm going to export this low poly base mesh version because it's really easy for me to adjust later. Animal head. There. Dragon says, I actually am Dragon Magpie everywhere else. This is the old one. Ooh, and magpies are also awesome, so double win. All right. We are committing to the shape. I'm going to make the eyeballs their own piece, subdivide it. I'm also going to do a tiny bit of post-processing as I go. And then Jack says, old Jack, just not in the right account, weirdly enough. It happens. YouTube's kind of weird about that. Oh, we're back to full snoring again. Oh my goodness, I don't know why he's so tired. You know, it's funny because I was really tired today too. I actually went back to bed and slept in. I never do that. Yeah. Ricky says, Mia, you're holding your pen really weird. My hand hurts for you. He's just making fun of that person that dropped in the beginning of the stream, being like, your tablet angle's so low, my neck hurts for you. Again, I feel bad because I feel like they don't mean it weird and snarky, but like, it's just a weird thing to say. I also am being suspicious because I'm like, I think I recognize their name on Patreon too. So I feel bad if they've supported me for years and I'm like, fucking dumb comment. Like, I feel so bad. But also like, I don't know. Start with like, how was your day? Cool model. Why are you doing a capybara with 6 legs? You know, like, I don't know. Ricky and I love weird comments. We really do. Oh, goodness. We're petty, but it definitely becomes like a dinner conversation, dinner jokes. I do get questions about that. Not recently, but I've had people ask me like, oh, like you're a creator online, how do you handle like weird or mean comments and that kind of stuff? And they genuinely do not even faze me at all unless there's a kernel of truth to it. That usually has to do with an insecurity thing, and then I just like squash that. And then I'm like, oh, then they're mean for pointing that out, you know? It's, you guys might have heard this before, but it's the equivalent of like someone running up to you on the street and like screaming at you because you have blue hair and they hate blue hair. And I'm like, what? Like that's what like super nasty comments feel like to me, where I'm like, couldn't be me, because that's crazy, dude. And I encourage you to like kind of take maybe some people in your life that aren't your favorite people or whatever, and if they're really critical and stuff, just keep that in mind. And if it really is hurting your feelings, maybe it's because there's a kernel of truth, you know? And if it's an insecurity you can't change, fuck it, ignore it. And if you can change it, you know, be like, is it actually a problem? Or you're like, that's just me. And I find that it kind of just goes away on its own. So, yeah. It's not, is it really an M3DM stream without me giving a weirdly specific personal anecdote? Pain says, my back hurts from work. I understand that I always stream, like when you're at work, Paint, but because you talk about being at work when I am doing art, I exclusively think that you're at work 24/7. Like, you know, when you were a little kid and like you didn't think that your teachers left school? I think that's a pretty universal belief from like little kids. That's how I feel about you, Paint. Oh my goodness. Make a YouTube apology video. Yeah, I'm not a real content creator person until I've made an apology video, huh? That'd be great. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Exactly like the energy I'm talking about. Oh, I love that joke, too. That whole interaction. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Oh, that's fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. If I made a YouTube apology video, which I'm not going to, obviously, what would it be about? What would be my controversy? I'm trying to think. Darn. Because that's a good one. I might regret texturing the fur on the face, completely different than the rest of the body. I have not decided on that yet. I need someone to request a capybara character making this specific face. Oh, I just think it's so funny. So funny. I'm gonna do that same technique with the move brush where I kind of like grab these little fur chunks and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good. Oh my goodness. Ricky says, apology video in the making. Tilted, titled, let's talk about what happened. Oh, I know, it's always like the most vague title too. Just like, what? And the worst part is, I'm such a sucker. I click on these videos too. I'm like, I don't know. I live a very non-dramatic life, so I don't know. I'm very nosy and very entertained. I did have, oh yeah, addressing the allegations. Yeah, that's perfect, guys. Oh, you're better at this than I am. Oh, goodness. Setting the record straight. Oh my gosh, you guys are too good at this. You're right, the title's never, like, talking about what it is. Yeah, I already fucked that up, because I would just, in the title, I would be like, I did this and it was wrong. I don't know. Okay, this is a niche experience, but do any of you guys have, like, YouTubers that you followed like bonus points if they're like an art YouTuber or they're creative. And like they slowly morphed from being like an art YouTuber to like tea and just drama. It was very sad. Like I had one that I really liked, and then she like shared this really horrible personal story beef that she had with another artist or a friend. I don't know. And then like it did really well, and now it's like she just kept milking it is what it felt like. I don't know. I was just like, again, same energy of like, sir, this is a Wendy's, where I'm like, why are we what? This is weird. I don't know. I don't know. Horseplay gone wrong. Shut up. That's so weird. Oh my gosh. That one's funny and weird on multiple levels. Paint said half of the early Minecraft creators did that. Oh, really? Yeah, I could see that. I didn't really watch like Minecraft creators. Granted, I really didn't. I really watched like any YouTubers super consistently. I'll like watch them for a long time, or like not a long time, like a lot in a short amount of time, and then I might check back in way later. A YouTuber I've been watching a ton of again recently though, which has been fun for me, is Lavender Town. Huge fan. I loved watching her stuff when I was in high school, and then I completely forgot she existed for my entirety of college, and then myself becoming a full-time artist. But I always thought she was just really cool and really sweet. So I've started lurking in her live streams. Not talking. Never talking. But just sitting there like, this is nice. This is fun. Even though in my head I'm like, I do art. We be art friends. We art. I would never do that though. Oh goodness. I'm happy with my peasants. This reminds me of voice chat last night. Catfish was like, this thing is talking to Foxy being like, oh, do you want to play Vermintide sometime? And like Foxy just in the drive was no. Like it wasn't like a diss against Catfish, but it definitely had the energy of like, you wanna be friends? And Foxy was just like, I do not. But in like that British accent, you know, which makes everything nicer, I think. Incredibly funny. Ricky says, we need to start putting gone wrong at the end of our YouTube titles. Sculpting a Majestic, Capybara, Centaur, Mini, and ZBrush. Gone wrong. I know. And like, I get the YouTube game. I do. But a small part of me would just die if I had to do that. You know, like, I'm so glad I don't know. No. Oh, you also like Lavender Town? That's awesome. I love it. Good. You know, she has really like catchy, like almost like, not clickbaity, but like that vibe of like titles. But it doesn't bother me at all when she does it, because it's still very on topic. She's so nice too. I want this to be puffier, I think. Maybe not. Just looks kind of flat. Where's the puff? There's the puff. I also want more shirt puff, but I'll handle that posing. Capybara Calvary sculpt gone wrong. Yeah, I need to have you guys manage my SEO stuff. Oh, goodness. looks so noisy though. Ugh. Remember earlier when I'm like, I'm gonna regret texturing this different than I did the rest of the entire model? That moment's right now. There we go. Because again, you don't want to apply a detailed fur brush to a perfectly smooth mesh. It just looks weird. Bonus points if you actually use a mask to blur the sections together. All right, how do I like that from a distance? It's good. It's fine. I like it better on the back, so let's get rid of it on the front. I think when I pose this character, some of this is gonna answer itself. Now it just looks like he has a wig. No. Nope. There we go. I also get that question a lot where it's like, how do you know how to do XYZ? And my answer is always like, I don't. I just keep doing it and I trust that I will recognize it when I see it, hopefully. I want a better transition from the ears to the head. Oh, YouTube just crashed on itself. I don't know if that affected the stream though. Oh, it's back. I see you guys are still making stupid titles. Awesome. How does that look? Looks okay. They have really like long hair, but it's long and straight and wiry. So it's kind of tricky to detail this, especially because I detailed the rest of it totally differently. I feel like this looks the closest to what I'm wanting. Add a slight bit of lazy radius to this. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of this texture. So I'm gonna do what I like. And that's that. Right about there. It got weird. Sweet. I always love when like you overwrite a bunch of undo history and ZBrush is like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yes. But now that you've asked me, I'm not sure. It's the same thing of like, when you're editing a document or something, it's like, you have unsaved changes. Are you sure you want to exit? And I'm like, I haven't touched anything. What do you mean? I like that. Bump up the contrast slider and turn off symmetry to get rid of this weird point here. There we go. Very good. Hey monkey, welcome in. Greetings, singular monkey. We're working on a Capybara. He's majestic and one of a kind. This is a Just Lingual request. Sounds like my tablet is having a meltdown. Sorry if you guys can hear that. And if you can, perfect. Don't worry about it. There, that actually looks pretty darn good even from a distance. I was worried that it wouldn't fit together. I can also use that same sort of fur texturing on the body. They just have long, wiry hair. Kind of textured it more like a goat. There we go. All right, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Just Lingual says, you say one of a kind. Soon there'll be capybars all over the Forgotten Realms. Oh, goodness. I don't think so. All right, I think he's going to be eating a carrot. Pretty much this exact pose that Just Lingual has already drafted out, except with a carrot. Well, sweet. I think we're ready to pose. So what I have to do now is fix my egregious naming system, which is just everything is extract1 _ 2 _ 3 _ 4. So I need to name everything something different. That way this doesn't explode when I put it in Transpose Master. Which I think is silly because I think different underscore name is plenty of a different distinguisher, but ZBrush begs to differ. I won't even tell you guys how long it took me to fix that. I would just be like, oh cool, they're different names. Different enough names, and then ZBrush would crash, and that had to happen quite a few times before I was like, I need to change my my method here. Body, especially because it doesn't really take that long. So now we need a Capybara pantheon. I mean, you guys are in charge of the request, so that could be a thing. I don't think it will be. I would be very surprised. Let's go ahead and just merge the entire belt down. Because I do have quite a few subtools. Let's kind of tidy this up. There we go. Once I'm done with all this subtool fussing and management, it will be pose time. Of which, if paint is here, I will get your attention. If you are not here, I will take a screen or a timestamp to send you later. Because you mentioned you were a bit confused with posing, so I'll make sure to break it down. So I guess this is the first step when it comes to posing. Just make sure all your subtools are a different name. And then ideally, you're gonna want multiple subdivision levels on things that bend. If it doesn't bend, like this belt, it doesn't really matter. And you don't want there to be too many points. Like right now I'm at 9.2 million points. That actually surprises me. Why? So I recommend not having it too high poly. A really easy thing you can do is go to the bottom of your subtool list, click on all low. So it's gonna drop everything to its lowest subdivision level. And then you can just scroll through and see if anything jumps out as unusually high. So the highest thing I saw so far was 200,000 points, which is the base. Not a big deal, won't be included in the posing process. And then this is 190,000 points. It doesn't need to be. So let's go ahead and crush that down to 25,000 points using Decimation Master. Sweet. It's the fur, these feathers. Okay, that makes sense. This is also 400,000 points. Doesn't need to be, just crush it down. Again, if it's something that bends, so what does that mean? I really just mean the body. And it's like, well, don't the feet bend? I'm like, yeah, but this specific shape isn't really contorting that much because there isn't a joint in the middle of this cannon bone, just here at the top and at their hoof. So I don't have to worry about that. Sweet, so even though my total points is 8 million, I don't really need to worry about that because no individual subtool was really that high. I am going to put everything to all high really quick and see what the heck is so many points. Ah, the legs are almost 3 million. That's why. And the body. So just whenever I add fur detail, it's really high resolution. It's pretty common that the poly count gets up there. No matter. All right. This is how I pose in ZBrush. It's very, very common. I use something called Transpose Master. So you go to Z plugin, you can come down here to Transpose Master. This is going to take all of your subtools, all your individual pieces, and merge them temporarily into one piece. So there's two buttons here, T-pose mesh and T-pose sub T. Sounds like complete nonsense, I'm aware. Just think of it as this first button is the start button, and the second one is the finish button. So we're gonna click on start, T-pose mesh, the first button. So it's gonna take all these pieces here, and now I click on Shift F, you'll see it's like they all highlight at once. But I still have, you know, the individual piece still does exist. So from here, I just do masking. That's really it. Once I'm done masking and using the gizmo to pose, I'll go back to Z plugin and click on end or finish, which is T-pose sub T. I know those names are just, they confuse beginners a lot. Just think of it as start and finish. It's like, what about all the stuff down here? No, don't even worry about it until you have to. Okay. So I'm gonna turn off perspective by clicking the letter P on my keyboard, and I'm going to start getting this pose going. Something I like to do is to grab the arms right from the get-go and then hold Command W. You'll see that the arms change colors before, after. That means that the arms are now their own polygroup. This is pretty awesome. This is what's so cool about Transpose Master, because I can move the band braces and the arms at the same time. So that's it. That's posing. It's gonna get messy around areas that bend a lot. So like your shoulders, I always joke that I hate doing armpits because look how much this moves and stretches. When you do that in ZBrush, because it's not like a living thing, when you go to bend it, it looks like this. It looks really stupid. So you have to do a lot of resculpting to fix stuff. Just expect that. And really think, do you need the pose to have their arms over their head? Like sometimes yes, but if it's not really worth it, don't do it. Oh goodness. It's really chaotic, kind of bad advice to be like, just make your pose less interesting. But sometimes this is valid advice. All right, I'm gonna turn off symmetry. I'm gonna grab just under the elbow. Now I can grab just this one piece. Why does it keep doing that? There we go. And bend this. Here's another good example. You'll see see how screwed up that gets. And it gets even worse if you put your gizmo somewhere weird. Make sure you're putting your gizmo somewhere that actually makes sense. So at the joint rotation point. Your joint doesn't bend here, it bends here. So make sure you put the gizmo at the point of rotation. And I don't pose hands. I do not. It is such a pain in the ass to individually articulate fingers. I do not. I sat down for a week and I posed a bunch of hands, like a fist, a point, an okay, a bunch of stuff, and I just reuse the same hands over and over and over again. But you will not see me posing hands in Transpose Master. Sometimes it helps if you blur the transition before you go. Meh. Alright, if I was holding this casually, it'd be about breastbone height. I recommend doing your pose as well. Actually, I don't recommend it. I insist. It really will make your life easier. Think about what's going to make that pose look believable or comfortable or convincing. Generally speaking, the farther the elbows are away from your character, the stiffer the pose is going to look. Because who walks around just like this? Immediately it's like NPC energy, you know? Get those elbows down. Relax. And then Jack said, don't use rigs and other programs to help pose hands. Nope. Nope. I haven't posed a hand in a very, very, very long time. No rig. I don't rig. Oh, I have. But no. Actually, I'll show that later, but I'll show you my hand library. It's kind of like my library of heads. This is true. Monkey said, just posing in a T-pose fixes all of this. This is true. Maximum personality. All right. Enough talking. Let me start posing quickly. You don't have to do things fast necessarily, but I like to try to say my demo, talk about it slow, and like get to the like showing part, because it drives me crazy when I'm watching a tutorial and it takes them like an hour to do anything. And I'm like, I am not going to do this if it takes 3 hours to pose an elbow. It doesn't. It does not. It's actually really quick. And this is one of my biggest arguments against people are like, why don't you rig your characters? And I'm like, because I'm so fast at this. This is not going to take me very long. It's like, well, what if you're doing multiple poses? Sure, if I'm doing an army, but I'm like, that's really not what I do. And even then, I rarely think it's worth it. Just like everything, rigging is a skill. And I think that's something that people kind of skate over. Like, oh, we'll just rig it. And I'm like, you realize how insane you sound? Anytime someone says that, I know they're probably not a 3D artist. When they say it casually, to be clear, not like a genuine recommendation, which is like, oh, you could just rig it. Easy. Easy peasy. When you're in Transpose Master, be very careful that you are not deleting topology or permanently modifying it. The 3D Gizmo has this little gear here that I'm too afraid to even click on right now, like taper, twist, that kind of stuff. Don't do that. You will get a vertex mismatch error, and your entire pose of that piece will be gone. It's happened to me so many times, and it makes me so sad. Same thing where if you go into Transpose Master and you had parts of your mesh hidden, I got bad news for you. It's not going to work. But it won't tell you. It will let you do it. And then it will be like, oh no. Oh no, no, no. I didn't keep your pose for you. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me? Why would you even let me do this if it wasn't an option? I think I had this, I bent the body the wrong way. I meant to go the other way. Oops. Scoot. Blur a little bit. Scoot. And this is why I like having different subdivision levels. I am doing a lot of clicking that you guys aren't necessarily seeing, which might make this look deceptively simple. I try to be as transparent as possible, because if you go to do this, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have to click Command Shift click, invert mask, show the whole thing like a million times. I'm like, yes, nothing is easy. Everything is difficult. That's my only commentary to that. There's a quote of something be like, oh, nothing worth doing is easy, or something like that. On a less crunchy teaching note, this has been such a fun freaking character to bring to life. Thank you, Justling Bull, for the request, for supporting me on Patreon. Like it's a huge deal. I know there's lots of jokes and lots of joking, but to be serious for a moment, I appreciate my patrons to death. I really do. Which is pretty much everyone in the chat is either a current patron or has been one in the past. So shout out to all of y'all. Thank you, thank you. Back to crunchy teaching. So I'm not going to pose the fingers right now. We're just going to stick things roughly around hand shape, and then I will modify that later. I do this pretty often where I'll do like a rough pose pass where now it looks like it's posed at all, but still pretty stiff. And then I will leave transpose master and tighten these up. I'm just deciding if I want to do that now or not. I think so. It's also really, really important that you, that you don't have the hips and the shoulders perfectly square on each other. I mean, you can if it's like a very like maybe they're a soldier at attention or it's very stiff or regal or whatever. But generally speaking, we kind of slump to one side or the other, and it just makes the pose a lot more convincing. So right now I am masking the top half of the torso so I can toy with kind of slumping this character to one side or the other. And again, where is that rotation point? Well, it'd be right in the middle of the spine, so that's where I'm going to put the 3D gizmo. So I'm checking it from the front and the back to make sure it's in the character. And then from here I can kind of like slump, kind of see what I think looks good. If that foot's going forward, I think this would dip a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Hello, Otaka. Welcome in. Absolutely. Reaper mentioned, as a rigger myself, yeah, no. If your program makes it easier to model if your program makes it easier to model without it, choose that option always. So what they're saying is don't rig unless you have to. Yeah. Sculpting a one-time thing is way different than rigging for animation. Exactly. I'm suspicious of the dragon. That sounds like a not true story. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That gets my bullshit detector going. I need to sneeze. That's me. Alright, just kind of scooting this arm over. Anything that is going to require me to move more than one subtool at once, I'm going to want to make sure I figure that out now, not later. But you can always go back into Transpose Master, so. I think that's what I'm wanting. I think this is good. Stretch that up. And then I'm gonna add some little details to the spear. I just didn't do it yet. Also, the back legs are perfectly symmetrical right now. I'm definitely not gonna want that, so let me scoot one of them forward before I forget. Throw that forward. Yes. I'm not even being too picky with like, oh, what angle am I going for it here? I don't know. I just want to not be exactly the same as the other leg. Is mostly what I'm thinking of right now. I'm gonna turn off perspective to make sure that their feet are somewhat on the same plane. It doesn't have to be perfect, but should be not totally broken. There we go. That looks much better than what I had before. And then my favorite is I can just grab the move brush and kind of swoosh it around, and that also helps. That's my less coherent teaching advice. If your pose is looking really busted and really boring, I super encourage you to take your move brush and be like, what if I do this? What if I just like move him around? It seems silly, but it's worth it to kind of like break out of these tiny adjustments. That's the worst thing you can do when you're posing and you're not sure what you want, is to do these tiny micro adjustments all the time. Also, turning on the silhouette. Highly recommend that. Clicking V on my keyboard. So I'm seeing right here, if I just separate the legs, the front legs a tiny bit, I get a better gap right here, which is great. That means that this pose is going to read a touch more clearly. So might as well. Granted, this is not a drawing, so the silhouette being super clear, it's not like critical because it is a 3D model. It does spin. But I do find that that advice is still pretty solid. Just don't go crazy over it. Don't be like, silhouette must be perfectly readable from every single angle. Like, just pick a good angle and do your best. Gonna add this weird, crunchy, lumpy tail swoosh to the left. This is looking like a legit character instead of just nonsense, which makes sense. I mean, I saw just single sketch is really nice. I was just suspicious of how much I was going to be able to successfully translate this into 3D. Some things are very cute in 2D, guys, and they're not so cute in 3D. I mean, you guys know this looking at like different animated movies. I do miss when the more animated movies were in 2D. Moving his head changes so much about the vibe of this character. I do think I should swap the carrot hand and the spear hand. I will do that later. All right, see a plugin? Finish button. So T-pose, sub-T, it's the one on the right. Yeah. Just single set. My wife is asking where the poing went. She missed the poing wars. Yeah, man, it's been a long time without poing. Take it up by mods, complain to them. They have full control. They can bring that back if they want to. Dragon said, would I lie just to make a single joke about fingers? Happens. Now we wear the poing as jewelry. This is true. That's what the older Capybars look like. Squashed. Fantastic. Okay. I think this is going to look better. Swappage. Which I hope it looks good because I don't want to have to repose the top of the torso. Yeah, it's fine. This is so weird. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this short sword, which I really thought was gonna read well, but now it just looks cluttered. Be gone. And now we'll bring in these hands that I posed many a moon ago. Redeem, hydrate. Yeah, none of that works anymore. There we go. These are my hands. Sometimes I make new hands. It's not often. That one would be a good one for the carrot hand. Why am I so... gosh darn tired today. Don't understand. Would just like to go back to bed. Oh, I put that in the wrong scene. Whoop. I'm like, this looks awfully low poly. What's up with that? There we go. Let's also scoot that base over. Womp, womp. There we go. Also, ZBrush hasn't crashed once today. I better save right now. There we go. It's been a good day. The Library of Disembodied Hands. Don't forget about the disembodied heads. Alright, now we come in here, delete subdivision levels, cut off the hands, and replace them with hands that are doing hand stuff. Be gone. He's doing like the... Okay. Come here. Obviously they're very human hands. I will make them chunkier by probably just inflating them a bunch and then rounding off the fingernails. Similar to how shoes make an outfit in real life, do not underestimate how much posing your hands on a character really brings it together. Which I know is rich coming from someone who just has a bunch of, like a hand library that I just keep reusing. It's worth it to spend some extra time on hands. Why is this one finger so weirdly long? Stop it. I do think I pose these. Yeah, I have a software. It's like ZBuilder from the same guy, but for hands. And so I can do, they're rigged with Z-spheres, so I can do a rough pose in there, but it's still pretty much doing it from hand. From scratch. Hand. I swapped the carrot and the spear. And I don't think it looks as good. That means I have to mirror the torso on top, and I don't want to. Boo. It looked better the other way, and I know it. Otaga says, is it only me or is the stream lagging? Only video though. I mean, the stream's almost over, so I probably shouldn't even bother troubleshooting this, but I can do a couple things really quick. Start. The stream should have been gone for like 2 seconds. And that's about all I got. That's the troubleshooting. Sometimes that's all it takes, though. And it improves dramatically, so hope that helps. I'm not going to finish the model all the way on stream, so all the like fine tuning and cleanup I'm not going to do, partly because I'm just tired. So I don't like finishing stuff up when I'm tired because I cut corners, but also because I do like to try to break up a sculpt into 2 sessions just to make sure I come back with fresh eyes. I can't tell you how many times I've had a really productive stream and I just finished the whole thing and then I looked at it later and I was like, how did I not notice that? Nobody said anything. Not that I need you guys to find problems. Please don't. But yes. That's happened a few times. I think this belt looks weird because there's like nothing holding the stuff to the stuff. So I'm just gonna put random rope links on it and I think it'll fix it. Look less weird. No. Yes. There's a smarter way to do this. Come on, let's be big smart instead of small stupid. There we go. Probably easier if this was just its own piece. Ah, there we go. I knew I was onto something. All right, merge that down, add more links. Believe me, I'm the last person that's like, actually that doesn't make any sense. But it has to look good. It's perpetual rule of cool. I also think having an excessive amount of rope could be good. I like these little details. I like that so much more. Heck yeah. What else can I put these on? It's deceptively simple, but if you do something that you like to your art, just keep trying to do it. It sounds stupid, but I'm like, oh, I liked ropes on the belt. Where else can I put that? Also, why are you being weird? There. Let me just put that here, do another one here. Like, I don't know what these are for, but it looks nice. You can tie more carrots to it. He could have a bandolier of carrots. We're not doing that. It's too far, too silly. But that would be fun. I was doing something important. What was I doing? Ah, yes, decorations for this spear. Please look good. Okay. That's as good as we're gonna get. No problem. This rope brush doesn't like to connect. I think that's actually just in the settings of it if I just bothered to change it. But it's so fast to fix that I have yet to fix that. I'm gonna add these little rope ties in a few different spots because again, I just feel like this is a very ropey model. It looks good. I was really hoping that I would get a lot done on this character and potentially like, I say finished, being like it's blocked out, detailed, posed, but just not the very last fine details. Anyway, I was hoping I was get all that done on stream, but I really did not think I was going to, so. What a nice surprise. All right. Guess what? More rope. I need to make this really chunky right here to make sure this cute little detail doesn't just break off immediately. Like this. This is not sustainable. This would not work. So I'm going to make sure it touches the spear, but looks like it's free floating. Definitely will not be though. And my usual fix to that is just add a bunch of them. Works 90% of the time. There we go, little detail. I'd like it more if it was not touching the sphere and broke off the silhouette, but I would hate painting that and printing that. Because if it printed, I would definitely break it off when I was trying to paint it. Cool. This is starting out pretty cool. I'm really starting to like this. I'm also really happy you provided a sketch for this, Just Lingual. I think this model would have given me the fear otherwise. I feel like I need another layer of this fluff, so I'm just going to duplicate it and just move it around. I think I like that, but I'll come back to it later and see if I still like it. Well, I think we did it, y'all. The very first and quite possibly the last Capybara. I mean, who knows? Maybe Justling was going to request a bunch of these. Justling says, you would have done great with that one. Oh, that's nice of you. I think with much more effort, though. So thanks for doing some of my job for me. I think the carrot's perfect. I also think the sphere shouldn't be so upright. Let me merge some of this down. There we go. The last Capybara sounds so dramatic too. The Last Capybara, a 2D animated film that horse girls watch after that other movie. That's probably what Subconscious was trying to say there. Amazing. I knew it sounded familiar, but I couldn't quite figure out why. Well, that was fun. Well, it is that time. It is screenshot time. Okay. Nope, we're auto-saving. Almost done. There we go. All right. Smile. That was fun. Well, sweet. It's time to do a dramatic render. And that's it for today. No bees. Smite. You're in timeout for 10 seconds. Oh, it deletes every message you've ever posted. Forgot about that. Oops. No bees. Nope, we are not resizing. We are making the background black. There we go. The deleting all your messages is so dramatic. Oh my goodness. You're back. Spiders? Yeah, that's fine. That's acceptable. All right, there is our very dramatic render. It really does look quite regal. Reaper says you can't ban me though. I think I can still put you in timeout. Reaper's in timeout. Bam. Girl, I am all powerful. Alright, we are uploading this. Giving this to my husband so he can make a fun render. Is that the right thing? I can't tell. No, that is not the right thing. But it brings me joy, so I'll put it on the screen. Where did this go? This thing that I just exported. I've immediately lost it. Oh, this was D&D just the other week. That was bad. It went fine. Okay, the screenshot is gone. Nope, no problem. This is why I try to save things all the way right away. Oh, nope, there it is. I found it. Just kidding. It doesn't help that I name everything like a single letter. Like I named this A, so that's why I couldn't find it. There we go. Bam. Well, I muted everybody in chat. Who's gonna say bye to me now when the stream ends? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have a good lunch and I'm gonna take another nap. Let's upload that. Bam. Oh, it's just Dragon. Yeah, just you and me now, Dragon. You have not gotten banned. Even though you did set the tavern on fire. But you fixed it, so it's fine. Ooh, ramen does sound good. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Alright. Alrighty. This was super fun. I really enjoyed this. Super whimsical and weird and one of a kind, I think. Okay. I'm gonna go take a nap, but eat probably a bunch of ramen first. You guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And on Saturday, I'll be seeing y'all, hopefully. Why can't I talk? It's like the calories have run out and now my brain just like idling. And I'm like, we're still talking. We're still using you. There's a stream on Saturday. Goofy. We're gonna play Peek together. Peasants. It'll be great. Be there, be square. All right, that's it. Get out. Bye, peasants.